Today I'm going to talk about the questionnaires that I use within my photography business. If you haven't met me before, I am Manali. I am a brand photographer and educator based out of Virginia, and I am all about systems and workflows to make more money in your photography business and work less. So I'm going to take you behind the scenes of the questionnaires that I use within my very own business today. So starting with a questionnaire that I use whenever I book a client. So I'm going to walk through all the ones that I do for my wedding clients first, and then talk about which ones I use for portrait sessions. So for wedding clients, whenever they book, I send out a booked wedding questionnaire, and this collects a ton of really incredible information for me. First of all, it collects the first and last names of both of my clients. I ask them if they're on Instagram and Facebook so I can follow along and build a personal relationship with them. I ask them about why they chose me as opposed to any other photographers that they were looking at, so that I know what sets me apart in the market and reasons why people are booking me very specifically, so I can use that in my marketing language and on my website. I asked them what types of stores that they shop at, and little questions that really give me an insight look at their just demographics and where brands that they love, and can look into those brands so that I know exactly the type of ideal client that I have. I ask them about what their biggest fear around photography is so that I can know to alleviate that just throughout the entire process for them. And then it's also very, very helpful because I start planning out the engagement session through this questionnaire. So I'll let them know what the time frames are for different seasons that I'll shoot in. I have a link for them to go ahead and schedule their engagement session if they know they want to do it within the upcoming couple of months. I link to my engagement session style guide, which has helpful tips on choosing a location, preparing outfits, and stuff like that. I'll ask them if they need any help figuring out a location or kind of what they have in mind for their engagement session. So this avoids a couple of back and forth emails because they can just let me know what they have in mind, or go ahead and pick a date if they're ready to schedule that. I also ask them for their specific ceremony and reception time, so I can use those two things and use whether or not they want to do a first look on their wedding day in order to start creating a draft wedding day photography timeline for them. So I get all of this information from that first book questionnaire, and it avoids so many back and forth emails and gets them really excited for the experience. I do also ask them to tell me a little bit more about their story and their proposal so that I can really personalize their blog posts for their engagement session and for their wedding day with the really specific details that they mention within just this questionnaire. So that's all about the book to wedding questionnaire. All right, so the second questionnaire that I use for weddings is the wedding prep questionnaire. I send this out about 2 months before a wedding day to gather all of the details that I need to shoot the wedding day really well. So I'll ask them for things like confirmed reception and ceremony start times, the locations of every single one of their venues. If they are getting ready at a hotel, I want to know that address. I want to know the exact ceremony address. I want to know the exact reception address. If it's happening at a different place, I ask them to confirm it on Google Maps because that's usually what I use to drive to all of these locations. I'll have them confirm the overall timeline that we had agreed on and let me know more details about the reception timeline that they usually will have by then. I'll ask for the names of all of the different wedding vendors so that I can make sure to tag them in all of the posts on social media and shout them out in the blog posts and link back to their websites. And I will make sure that I email them before the wedding too to make sure we're on the same page, to let them know that I'll deliver all of the final images to them as well. And so I get a ton of different information through this wedding prepped questionnaire. I will also ask my clients to go ahead and finalize their family portrait list and list out the combinations that they want with the names of the people as well, so that I can call them by name and not be like, bride's brother, please come here. And so it gets me a ton of really good information. I will confirm if they have a sparkler exit or not, and just make sure that the coverage that we have is going to be enough to cover anything that they have that's a really fun reception event that's happening. And so I will take all of this information, reformat it into my own little iPhone note that I'll make on the Notes app, and that way I have all of the details of the wedding day on my phone, and I take screenshots of it as well, just so that it's on my phone and I don't have to so that I don't have to use the internet access to access this info, because sometimes I'm shooting at venues that are pretty rural or just don't have really great internet access, and I need to be able to access all of the details of the day. Another really quick tip that I actually added onto the prep questionnaire is to ask for their color palette. So that way I know exactly what types of ribbons to bring for their detail shots, things like that. And I've actually started asking them to actually send me a copy of their invitation suite so that I can make sure that I have that for the wedding details on the day of, or if I need some more time, I can style them at home myself too and get some really beautiful pictures of them that way. So that's a little look into what my wedding prep questionnaire looks like. And again, I sent that out 2 months before the wedding day so that we have enough time to go through, write down all the details, and make sure that everything is squared away before their big day. After the wedding day, after I am delivering their final gallery, or as I'm delivering in their final gallery, I will send over a testimonial questionnaire as well. So this is going to ask questions. What was their experience like with me? What would they tell a friend? Was there anything that they were worried about that ended up going really well? Did they enjoy the number of email touch points that we had? Was there any part of the experience that was like delightful that they weren't thinking would happen? So where did I go above and beyond? And I do ask them for 3 words that are a description of my brand. So again, I'm using all of this as well as the actual testimonial, the written part, to make sure that it is going across my website and is helping bring in the types of clients that I really want to work with. That's a little bit about the testimonial questionnaire, and those are the 3 main ones that I use for weddings. I do also have an album questionnaire. If my couple has a wedding album added onto their package, I will use that questionnaire to send them a draft design, and then on that questionnaire, they're going to choose the spreads that they want to keep and customize and let me know what they want printed on the title of the album itself. So like Mary and Darian is going to be their wedding title and the format that they want the date written on album cover, and which type of cover that they want and material that they want for their album cover as well. So again, this avoids a ton of back and forth. That questionnaire also shows them or links to a video that shows them exactly how to request their revisions on the design. So this really keeps the entire process very streamlined. And I also ask them to confirm the mailing address that they want the album shipped to, just in case they have moved since the beginning when they first probably initially booked me for their wedding, like a year and a half ago. So again, I use all of these questionnaires to get a ton of details from my clients in a really efficient and easy to manage way. It also makes it very easy for me to be able to go back and reference the questionnaires if there's a specific detail that I can't remember off the top of my head. On the portrait side of things, I do generally use a booked questionnaire. So I use this with my grad sessions. And again, I just ask questions that are going to help us both prepare for the session. I do this for proposals or for just one-off shoots for couples as well. And I do it for event photography. So I'll use that booked questionnaire. I usually don't have a prep questionnaire. I would usually just send them an email that is outlining some like helpful tips for preparing for their session. But I will also send over that testimonial questionnaire as I'm delivering that final gallery to get their feedback. This is something that I just have built into my systems, and that way I don't have to remember every single year to go back and ask people for testimonials. It's already baked into my workflow. So that's a look at all of the questionnaires that I use within my photography business. If you're looking to swipe some, you can grab mine in my photography resources shop. I'll have it linked down below.